Hey everybody, Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. This week I want to talk about Splatoon, obviously, but first, a quick movie review. This past weekend was the premiere of War for the Planet of the Apes. Husband is a huge Apes fan, loves the original movies, loves the new movies too. I do too. This was really great. They say ending to the trilogy, but I feel like if it makes money, they're gonna make more, so I don't know what's next, but War was another solid entry in the series, really good. Unfortunately, I feel like the Apes movies in this cycle have been getting longer and longer with each film, and this one is like just shy of 2.5 hours, and I don't think it needs to be. Like, it's a good movie. I loved where the story went. I wasn't expecting it to go where it went, so it was kind of a nice surprise. But I just felt like it could have gotten where it needed to go in maybe like 15 or 20 minutes faster, you know? But that's just me. Like, it wasn't like I was bored watching the movie. There were just certain points where I'm like, alright, you know, we could speed this up a little, maybe. Yeah, if you liked the other Apes movies, this is another really good one. And now on to gaming with Splatoon. This past weekend on Saturday evening was the Splatfest. It was Team Ice Cream versus Team Cake. Team Ice Cream naturally won. I kind of expected it to win when I played for like, I think I only played for like an hour or so, but literally I think I played one match against Team Cake. Every other time, they would make a team of ice cream, and we would fight against another team of ice cream. So, that was when I was like, I don't think Team Cake stands a chance in hell, because they can't even find enough players to form a Team Cake for me to battle. So I figured that other people were having the same problem, and there probably were more people fighting on the side of Team Ice Cream. It wasn't as even as maybe some of the others were. Maybe if they had done it in the winter, Cake would have had more fans than Ice Cream, but it's hot and summer, so Ice Cream is what everybody wants. The Splatfest was great fun, and it did what it was supposed to do, which is to sell me completely on Splatoon 2. I mean, I was already basically going to buy it, because I remembered enjoying Splatoon on my Wii U quite a bit. Even though I never really got into the single-player mode, I just played multiplayer all the time, sometimes with friends, sometimes with strangers, and it was always great fun. So I was pretty much going to buy it anyway, but playing the Splatfest, it just reminded me of how much fun Splatoon really is. Even when I'm losing. Like, which is weird to me. Like, I lost a bunch of matches in a row, and still didn't care. I still play again, and did another one, and tried again. And I'm like, so it's crazy to me. That's how much fun Splatoon is even if you're on teams that lose all the time, you still want to play more, which I don't understand. At least for me, I want to play more. Which usually in video games, when I lose a bunch of times, I just quit. But here, I'm just like, no. Maybe next time I'll have a better team and we can win. Because, you know, it's not all on you. It's on other people, too. It was interesting to play the Splatfest because everybody was level 1. Everyone had the same weapons. I played a few rounds with the gun and hated it. And I saw how come other people have paint rollers. And I went into the shop and he's like, I can't sell you anything until you're like level 2. But you don't get experience or coins or anything in the Splatfest because it's just a demo. So there was no way, I was like, there's no way for me to get better weapons. Like, how are these people getting better weapons? And then I realized if you just go into the menu, you can choose. They give you like 4 different weapons to choose from. A few guns, and a roller. And I was like, oh, there's my roller. Because I When I play Splatoon, I'm not about splatting the other players. I end up getting splatted quite a bit myself, because I am all about taking my roller and painting as much area as I possibly can. Like, they'll all be shooting at each other, and I'll just go around the side and just start painting everything I can with our color, team color. And, you know, that's how you win. Because it's not about hitting the other people. I mean, that helps to get them out of the way so you can paint a whole area without them bothering you. But it's all about painting as much as you can. So I'm sold, and I'm also slightly disappointed now to discover that I had thought Splatoon was coming out on the 18th, but it actually is coming out on Friday the 21st, so that's sort of irritating. But whatever. In other gaming news, we had a work party, and it was at Barcade. For those of you who don't live in a big city, I found out actually there's one in like Philadelphia or something, or Chicago or something. It's a chain, and it's a bar, and they serve like craft beers and stuff, and they have food, but there are classic arcade games lining the walls. And so there's like 3 barcades in Manhattan. There's one in Brooklyn I've been to. This one was down in the East Village. I hadn't been inside this one before. But it was amazing because I knew there'd be free food and drink. So I walk in, I start scoping out what games there are, and I'm like, okay, so I go up to get myself a beer, figuring I'll only have to spend money on the games. And then I see huge bowls of tokens just sitting around the bar. And I'm like, of course, obviously, if you're going to rent out Barcade for a private party, you're going to get free food, free alcohol, and there's going to be free games. Like, everything is free. So basically, I just was all over the place. I played so much Crazy Taxi, it was ridiculous. Like, I could come home and play Crazy Taxi on my Dreamcast, but there's something about playing it with a big giant steering wheel that's like so much more fun. And they had a machine that had Dr. Mario. It had a bunch of Nintendo games, like Zelda and Super Mario Brothers, and it had Dr. Mario, and I was like, oh great, I love Dr. Mario. I put in a token, I started playing, and I literally got through, like, 2 levels before it was like, okay, time's up. Put in another coin to continue from where you left off. And I was like, the hell? Because, I mean, obviously, like, you could play Dr. Mario for a really long time. It's like Tetris. If you are good at it, you can play it for too long. And in an arcade, you need people to keep pumping in quarters, you know. So I get it. But I did not continue playing Dr. Mario. I'm like, whatever, it's fine. I also discovered this awesome game. There were a couple shooter games, like the Terminator 2 game and the Aliens 3 game with the big guns. But they were just insane, and it was just this chaos, and my finger got tired from pulling the trigger so much. But my favorite was this game that I discovered called Dynamite Cop. I'd never heard of it, but there was a guy fighting a giant octopus on the attract screen, which attracted me, so I started playing it, and it is insane. It's a Sega game that, it's just a beat-em-up, and you fight your way through this, like, ship to rescue the president's kidnapped daughter. She's in a giant suitcase at some point. And it's insane. And I had a ton of tokens, and I just, every time I die, I'd plug in another coin, and I'd just keep playing more until I got to the very end and beat the boss. And one of my coworkers came over and was like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, help. He's like, do you need help? I'm like, yes, I do, actually. It's getting really tough now. So he came in and helped me get to the boss, and then together we tag-teamed the boss and fought him, and just kept plugging in coins every time we died so that we could finally win. And that was super just crazy. It was just weird. Fighting guys in turtle costumes and crab costumes, and then the giant octopus, of course. It was nuts. But, and obviously I'm glad that I had free tokens, because otherwise I wouldn't have gotten past, like, the first level, because once I died, that would have been it. But in other gaming news, also, I did try Until Dawn Rush of Blood, and you can actually see I played the first round, the first level of Rush of Blood in PSVR, and it starts out very relaxing, and I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad, shooting gallery. Then it becomes horrifying, and they're coming at you with knives and chainsaws, and you're just like, holy and I just kept screaming, and I was like freaking out, and it was very, 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 very stressful. So you can watch me scream and freak out on my YouTube channel here. Just my last video, I did a Let's Play, and I streamed it, the first round live, so you can watch me be surprised and terrified, and it's hilarious. At least I think it's hilarious. I also made some progress in Zelda. Unfortunately, remember when I said that I was able to battle some Guardians and it was pretty successful, and I'm thinking maybe I can make my way towards Hyrule Castle and like at least get those last couple memories? Yeah. I decided to go check out, there were like some ruins of a castle, of a farm, I mean, and I went to go check it out, and there were these bokoblins on horses, and they were attacking me, and I'm trying to fight them, but then this giant Guardian shows up, and deflecting its blast doesn't actually hurt it that much. You have to deflect quite a few blasts, and I kept missing because the bokoblins kept attacking me, and I'm like trying to fight, and I'm just like, ah, and I would target the bokoblins by accident, and I'm like, ah, and it was too much, and I lost all my shields, and I'm like, I have no more shields, so I am out of here, and I just teleported the hell out of there. So I've been doing other things, finishing up some other mini quests, and that sort of thing, and exploring areas that I have not ever explored before, and discovering shrines there. And I still don't understand how I just found my 90th shrine, which was a complete pain in the ass, by the way, because in order to open up, unlock that shrine, you had to sneak up and mount a deer and ride it over the target to unlock the shrine. And the deer, like, heard every move you made. And I don't have stealth armor, I never bought stealth armor, so I'm, like, literally doing it in my underpants. That was the quietest I could be, no weapons. And I eventually did it. I also feel like the stealth tonic that I made to boost my stealth did not help at all. I feel like it hurt me just as much, and I was just as successful without it as I was with it, but whatever. I did eventually ride the deer, I got him to ride, I got on and I rode him across the thing and I unlocked the shrine, and that was my 90th shrine, and it boggles my mind that there are still 30 shrines left. There's 120 of them, and I'm like, what? But then, every so often, I'm like wandering around just aimlessly. I'm like, oh, you know what, I don't think I've ever explored this area. And I'll go in this area and find out, oh, my shrine detector's going off. And oh look, there's a shrine. And I'm like, okay. So, I kind of want to download the DLC, not because I want to use any of the... I don't want to do the trials, like I said last week. I don't care about the combat trials, and maybe the Korok mask might be nice to have, but the rest of it I'm like, whatever. But there is a feature I've seen people using, I've seen them tweeting out pictures, they're screenshots, where it basically, like, you can open up the map, and I guess there's some kind of an overlay where it, like, literally tracks every step you've made on the map of Hyrule. And, it's insane. It's insane that it can even do that. But then, it's funny to me because I think that would actually be a really good way of being like... Because I'm looking at my map and going, alright, there's no shrines over here. I'm going to go explore over there because there should probably be a shrine. They're kind of spaced out relatively evenly, I find. But if I was to use that overlay, I'd be like, I've never set foot in any of this area. Let me go and check it out and see what I can find, because I'm sure there's secrets and shrines and whatnot. Unfortunately, with Splatoon coming out, now I'm thinking, I'm never going to finish Zelda. Although it's weird, because it's one of those games where even though I've not gone to the castle, I've not tried to fight Ganon, and maybe it won't be so bad, and maybe I can do it, but I've done so much, and I plan on continuing to play it in the future, and then when the DLC comes out, I'm going to play that as well. Like, I feel like I've gotten my money's worth. So I don't feel like I need to finish it. So if it's too hard and I can't finish it, I still feel like I got my money's worth and it's okay. Like, I'm not mad. I just need to, like, buckle down and just do it. And have confidence. Although right now I need to get some more shields and stuff, because I'm good on weapons. Shields, I need to start stockpiling again, because that one Guardian took out, like, a half a dozen shields. It was pretty bad. So, yeah, so that's it for this time, and come back next week, and I'll have more to talk about. Maybe I'll have seen Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, because that looks really interesting to me. I'm also psyched because my husband has no interest in it whatsoever, so that means I can see it in 3D, which is going to be so cool! So, see you next time. Bye!